Hi students, today we're going to learn a little bit about minerals as part of our rocks and minerals unit. We're specifically going to look at the characteristics that identify a mineral from a regular rock. Make sure your note sheet is out in front of you and that you're taking some guided notes as you go through the presentation. So the first thing we're going to do is look at a fascinating fact. There are only 8 elements that make up 99% of all the minerals that we find in our earth. So of all the elements in the periodic table, there are over 100 of those elements. Only about 8 make up 99% or the bulk of the minerals on Earth. So a little bit of background. Scientists have actually identified over 2,000 different minerals on Earth. And so 95% of the Earth's crust is composed of about a dozen different of these different rock-forming minerals. So again, 99% of the Earth's crust is made of about 8 to 12 different minerals. And then we're going to study later on rocks, and rocks are formed in 3 different ways. There are igneous rocks, there are metamorphic rocks, and there are sedimentary rocks, and we're going to get into those a little bit later. But the important thing for you to know right now is that all minerals are rocks, however, not all rocks are minerals. So the definition of a mineral: minerals are the building blocks of rocks, and these are things that occur naturally in Earth. You have seen mining in Ecuador, you've seen mining in other places, and these are the minerals that we pull out of the Earth. So the 5 characteristics that minerals have, we're going to march through those, and so you'll be able to use those to identify some minerals in class. So the first characteristic is that minerals occur naturally. That means that they're not man-made or something that's artificial. Plastic is a good example of this, and you saw that in the mineral or not presentation, or the activity that you did. So plastic, while it comes from oil, is still man-made. You're not just going to encounter it deep in the earth without it being man-made. The second characteristic is that as far as phases of matter go, a mineral is always a solid. It's never a liquid or a gas. I have an example here of platinum. Platinum actually takes a really long time to form, and it also, just a little bit of it, only produces a little bit of the ore. A lot of the ore only produces a little bit of the platinum. But mineral characteristic number 2, the important part is that it's solid. Mineral characteristic number 3 is that they have definite chemical composition. And what this means is it's not a mixture that you would just pull up off the ground. Minerals are made of either one element, so an element on the periodic table like oxygen or gold or iron, or they're made of 2 or more elements. Minerals, like you see here, here's quartz. Quartz is made of silicon and oxygen, so there are 2 elements on the periodic table that compose quartz. But it's not just a mixture of things that we don't know what they are. Mineral characteristic number 4 is similar, except that the atoms in those elements are arranged in an orderly pattern. Oftentimes minerals look crystal-like, and they have a number of flat surfaces. They can be cubic, they can be hexagonal, depending upon how the atoms line up. The last characteristic of minerals, characteristic number 5, is that they're inorganic. That means that they have never been alive or they're not currently alive. So organic would define living things, and inorganic means never alive. So these are not remains of any living thing. They are crystals or minerals. So the last thing, if it helps you, the acronym SNIFE, S-N-I-F-E, actually might help you remember the different properties. So the first letter of each of the letters in SNIFE stand for one of the 5 characteristics of minerals. So solid, naturally occurring, inorganic, fixed composition, and element or compound. If this helps you, make sure that you write that down, and you could even rearrange the letters to be something else, another word that might help you remember. Have a great rest of the class.